18 fresh faces, 26 long days, one new sole survivor, and 300 random producers in the background. Can someone tell Dave to move out of the shot? We've got mullets emerging from the jungle, games within games within games, twists on the beach and on top of mountains, and even in this bag. All caught in 4K. Rise and shine, superfans. It's the dawn of a new era. Ladies and gents, old schoolers, new schoolers, day oneers, binge watchers, internet. My name is Peridiam, and let's get this show on the road. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed the Survivor 41 premiere a lot. It felt very personable. The gameplay was exciting. We got 2 blindsides back to back, a series of tangled webs and decisions and blunders, and don't get me started on that oh so crisp cinematography. We started the season with a good old-fashioned marooning, forcing the players to jump into the water and paddle for their lives. Well, until they realized they were going nowhere fast. And another tribe couldn't even find a paddle and didn't even leave the boat. Oh boy. This is gonna be a long season. But that's okay, because I have got my Survivor battle map dusted off, Drumstick Island is ready to be charted or eaten, 18 new pogs are on the board, and 1 probes pog for good measure, we're gonna need it, and let's break it all down. We hit the yellow beach first. Yase lost that reward challenge in spectacular fashion and are now faced with a new challenge. Do you wanna be savvy or sweaty? Oh, Jeff. Brains or brawn? Can you count triangles, or would you rather pour some water into a barrel? I'm not gonna lie, geometry is not my forte, dare I say, it makes me sweat, which means I would sweat it out with the water instead. Vochi hates this idea and thinks only an idiot would make that decision. And then Xander pops up and is like, hey man, ready to fill up some barrels? Great timing, Xander. While Vochi and Xander are hitting the ground walking, Evie and Liana hit the ground running. They link up and realize the 2 guys are likely to bond too after, running around the beach together for the last 4 hours, and maybe they can form a strong foursome alliance to control the numbers. Evie and Liana become a strong duo, even though Evie lets us know that she's gonna keep her brains hidden from everyone so nobody views her as a threat. I like it. Abraham, meanwhile, reads from the Book of Old School Survivor and wants to keep the tribe strong. We've heard that before. He tells Evie he wants to take out Tiffany for being useless in the first challenge back on the boat. To be fair, I would argue they were all pretty useless, so whatever. Tiffany is the weak link, she is a liability. But Evie doesn't love this logic because Evie isn't exactly chiseled out of stone herself, so what's to stop Honest Abe from taking her out next? Evie and Liana compare notes, which leads to Liana telling Tiffany about the target Abraham has firmly planted on her back. We're only a few hours into this game and it's already heating up. And then, out of the blue yonder, a random boat pulls up to their beach. Meanwhile, on the blue Luvu Love You tribe, we see Danny and Deshawn get straight to filling up the water barrels. I wonder what Voce would think about this. These 2 guys know they can do it. They're not gonna kick and scream. It's just water in a barrel. It's Survivor. You gotta dig deep at some point. Nasir promises that the other 4 players won't strategize behind their backs. That would not be cool of them, especially given that these guys are just selflessly doing their best for the good of the tribe. They didn't ask for this. And naturally, of course, what happens when you have a lot of downtime and you're just doing the most basic mundane things? Both Danny and Deshawn form a strong bond. They want to work with each other for the long haul. And because they've got all this time to, kill fetching water, they decide, why not look for an idol in the meantime? Looking for an idol on day 1 never hurt anyone, right? Right? Almost like a scene taken straight out of Heroes vs. Villains, Nasir Diaz Twine catches the Hans Bros searching for idols in the brush and reports back to his tribe about the unfortunate series of events. Nasir creates a Final 4 alliance with the 3 women, although I can't say everyone seems to be on board with it. Danny and Deshawn finish filling up the barrels, despite Nasir losing all faith in them, and right away Sydney decides to play double agent. She tells the 2 guys that Nasir was snitching on them, searching for an idol, and he wants to target them both. Now, all of a sudden, the tables have completely turned, and Danny and Deshawn have a target on Nasir. Sydney basically plays the middle and gets the men to turn on each other on a dime. But while everyone is lining up their target in their sights, all of a sudden, a boat pulls up to greet them. But we've got a third tribe to look out for, the green tribe, Uwa, shortest tribe name in Survivor history, and they are packing a punch. This green tribe doesn't have to do any of the sweaty challenges, so instead they all just get to know each other. JD is this young superfan, he's eager to play, makes a fire right away. He bonds with Sarah over their age, being the youngest. They want to look out for each other. JD then begins to make the rounds, talking with Shan, Brad, Jeannie, a couple of palm trees, and then Ricard, meanwhile, starts to catch on to JD's social gameplay. Ricard begins to feel like JD is shady boots, and he talks with Sarah and Shan by the water well about targeting JD first. JD is just a little too eager for his own good. Seems like we've got our first one-sided rivalry brewing. But Shan is also a superfan and wants to extend her network of influence too out of the gate, and I suppose she takes notes from JD's performance because she goes to Brad and forms a connection. The two of them plan to ride to the end together. But then she tells JD that she's gonna have his back 100% as well, and then JD reciprocates that, and given that Shan has already connected with Ricard and Sarah by the water well earlier, she's nearly covered all of her bases. To top it off, she connects with Jeannie, and then they loop in Brad, and now she's got a solid 3. But when you look under the surface, in reality, Shan is laying the groundwork to have as many options as possible going forward. And what's more, she has a devilish smile and a little hum the whole time. And so that boat that I've talked about twice now pulls up to the green beach to whisk away one player from each tribe to the Survivor Summit, a twist where players can partake in a small event for a chance at a reward. The green tribe decides to use this newly minted rock system to determine who goes, and go figure, JD pulls the white rock. He's excited, but he's nervous. We flip over to the blue tribe and we see that the opposite is happening. Nobody wants to go, nobody's volunteering. This frustrates Danny. He just wanted to play some rock, paper, scissors, so he volunteers himself without having to beat anyone, and everyone loves that idea. Danny is here to dig deep and climb high, and I don't fault him for it. And to juxtapose those two tribes with the third yellow tribe, we see the yellow tribe approach the decision in a different manner than the other two as well. Whereas green all wanted to go and nobody on blue wanted to go, yellow decided to just straight up elect Xander to go because they all trust him the most. They think that he will do what's best for the tribe overall. He's gonna get sweaty for him. And to his credit, Xander's up for it, so let's see what this is all about. The 3 players get on their boats, winds blowing in their hair, they arrive, and the Survivor Summit turns out to be a small challenge where the 3 players, they meet up, they shake hands, they vaguely attempt to form a cross-tribal alliance that'll likely never amount to anything, and then have to decide if they want to take a chance to risk their vote to potentially earn an extra vote. If all 3 players take the risk, everybody loses their vote. But if only 2 players take the risk, they both will get the advantage. When you really think about it, it's not a huge risk, it's just the first few days of the game. An extra vote will go a long way, but Danny decides to play it safe. But as we see, both Xander and JD go for broke, and it pays off. So Danny gets back to camp and he keeps it real with his tribe, and they believe him, so all's well that ends well. He protected his vote, not much else to say. At the yellow tribe, Xander also tells the truth and lets his tribe know he may be getting an extra vote, but he'll be using it for the tribe. Also, he's changing his name to the tribe. And then we get JD on the green tribe, and boy oh boy, this is a story. JD recounts the ocean waves, the breeze in his hair, the other players' beautiful locks, the climb to the peak, the struggle, and then how he decided to protect his vote. As expected, Ricard does not believe him. Ricard may be onto something. So we see the immunity challenge happen, and only the blue Love You Luvu tribe wins immunity, forcing yellow and green to head to tribal council. We also learn about the shot and the dark die, which is basically like, it's a new little tiny twist. You get a single die for the season. You can roll it at tribal for a 1 in 6 chance at being safe, but you also lose your vote. It's kind of like a hidden immunity idol, except there's a very low chance of it working, unlike a regular one, which is 100% chance, I guess, unless your name is Dan or Janet. And you can't decide who to vote for. You lose your vote if you roll the die. Go figure, it's a shot in the dark. So we head to the defeated 0-for-2 yellow tribe, and we immediately pick up where we left off. Liana and Tiffany want to take out Abraham. Meanwhile, Vochi, Xander, and Abraham Abraham discuss taking out Tiffany, but Abraham needs the fourth vote, so the three guys all loop in Evie to be that fourth, but of course she's nervous about that mentality of picking off the physically weakest. Evie pulls Voci aside and voices her concern about Abraham being a threat to all of them, that Tiffany will be more loyal to them. She truly believes that. Evie wants to take Tiffany deep into the game, so Evie then speaks with Liana and Xander about keeping Tiffany. She's not that much of a liability as Abraham would make her out to be. And then lastly, it all comes full circle. Evie meets with Tiffany about taking out Abraham. She's not entirely sure about Voci being on board, but she can for sure get Liana and Xander. Tiffany understands what needs to be done. She will be the decoy target for this vote, but it puts her on edge, and so she tries to find an idol, and she almost finds something that Probst hid in the beginning of the video at the top of the episode. It's a new advantage called the Beware advantage, but we don't know anything about it, so unfortunately I can't really explain it here or talk much about it. Apparently it has a risk to it, so I guess beware. But Tiffany doesn't find an idol or this advantage, and so they head to tribal council, and after much dismay and a little bit of banter, Abraham is blindsided and voted out by a vote of 5-1. It seems the duo of Evie and Liana seized the day. They got Xander and Tiffany on their side, and Voci likely went with them too. I'm not sure if there is actually a strong foursome alliance here between Evie, Liana, Voci, and Xander, but I could see Tiffany playing third wheel to a trio in the future. That said, Xander did get an extra vote, which will surely complicate the numbers going forward, but for now, I like this tribe and where they're at, and I'm excited to see what happens next if they're forced to vote out another member. But then we get to the Green tribe, and man, this is a doozy. Sarah feels like she cost the tribe the challenge at the puzzle. She's not happy with her current situation. She teams up with Ricard, and they decide to target JD. After all, he's Shady Boots. Ricard has this vendetta on JD, and he's gathering numbers. The two of them then go and rope in Jeannie for a third vote, and they're almost there. Ricard and Sarah talk with Shan about taking out JD. They say they have Jeannie 100%. Then Brad shows up out of nowhere, and Ricard puts Brad on the spot about his vote. Brad shoots it straight with them and says that he thinks keeping the tribe strong is the best bet. Taking out JD isn't really a great idea, and he's thinking it's either going to be Shan or Sarah going. But both Shan and Sarah are right there, and they're really confused. Why would he be so blunt and one-dimensional? Is this new era gameplay that we're just not catching on to? So Shan goes and meets with Brad and JD by the water well, where Brad tells JD that he's got a storm coming his way. Ricard and Sarah are seriously pushing to get him out. JD is perplexed. What the heck? He wanted to work with Sarah. But Brad is good to take her out now, and so JD is like, okay, say no more. Hey, but anyone but me. JD wants to go with Brad, Jeannie, and Shan to flip the script on Sarah and Ricard. So this all leads us to Shan, who has been in every conversation at one point in time or another. She recognizes that Brad and JD are targeting Sarah, that Ricard and Sarah are targeting JD, and that while she may be at the bottom due to the challenge, her social game is keeping her on top of everything. And what's more, because of that, she is now squarely in the middle. She talks with Jeannie about the vote. Jeannie isn't really sure what to do, but Shan says that if she can get out her target tonight, she will be in a great spot to control what happens next. And so we go to tribal council, and it's a total shit show. It devolves pretty quickly into a live tribal where Shan tells Ricard to vote out Brad. Wasn't the target on Sarah or JD? Where did Brad come from? Ricard tells JD to vote out Brad, but JD tells Shan that taking out Brad is a terrible idea. Ultimately, JD lays his trust in Shan's hands and says that he will do whatever she thinks is best for them. But what does she want to do? And of course, this is where we lose the subtitles and are now in the dark. Shan tells Sarah not to take a shot in the dark, although after all this kerfuffle, I wouldn't be surprised if she really wanted to take more than just one shot in the dark. Bottoms up, the vote comes in, and 4-1, Sarah is voted out by the hands of Shan, JD, Brad, and Ricard. Wait, hold up. Where did Ricard come from? I thought he was voting out Brad or JD. And why did Jeannie vote out Ricard? My best guess, as far as I can tell, is that Shan looped in Ricard before the vote, possibly even before tribal council, about the plan to take out Sarah. This may have been Shan's shot all along. She rode with JD, she brought in Ricard, and she already knew Brad was voting out Sarah anyway. Shan has described herself as the mafia pastor, and let me tell ya, she is the godmother of this tribe. And then as for Jeannie voting for Ricard, I will chalk it up to having an alternative target if Sarah had cast her die and taken her shot in the dark. At least, that's my best guess. We didn't really get a lot of strategy from Jeannie. But now JD has his extra vote, and Shan is right where she wants to be. She's got JD, Ricard, Brad, maybe even Jeannie, and I'm sure JD's extra vote is hers to use as well. A lot of options. Kim Spradlin would be proud. But that's it. That is the tangled web of this premiere, hopefully now a little less tangled. It's a bit complicated, I know, but I love it. Even if it's intended to be a new era, this to me is still Survivor. It's the game we know, it's the game we love, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So at the tail end of all of this, let me know what you guys thought about the premiere, who you're rooting for, who you think might win it all. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to my patrons for all your support, especially over the past year when Survivor just wasn't on. American Survivor anyway. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to drop the 4 and keep the 1 on your way out, and I will see you in the next one once I realize there's about a 16.7% chance that I'm about to pass out from all these shots.